Today we're having a look at Marvel's Avengers at 1080p on Xcloud, GeForceNOW and Google Stadia. Can you tell which one is which? Having a look at performance mode on Stadia on the left, and also performance mode on Xbox Cloud Gaming in the middle, and GeForceNOW on the right with PC settings, so it's actually ultra settings here and still pushing higher than 60 frames per second at 1080. So we can see very clearly, very quickly that GeForceNOW definitely has the quality and FPS over the other two, but there is a cost to that which we'll come on to later. As we look at Google Stadia full screen, 1080 is looking a little bit blurrier than I remember it from previous, however it does run extremely smooth. I'm using an wired Xbox Series X controller for all of these tests, as on PC I generally use a wired controller to keep that cloud latency to a bare minimum, and I'm not a huge fan of the Stadia controller since using the Xbox Series X controller more and more. As we switch to Xcloud, it looks not as blurry, but there's still a bit of blurriness there, and we expect this from the performance mode as it is pushing the 60 frames per second over the quality settings, but there is a bigger cost to Xcloud in general, which we'll come on to shortly. But Xcloud's still looking extremely smooth here, and the graphics quality is definitely getting better. Looks like we are running the Series X blades, especially with some of the load times, which we'll show towards the end with some load speed tests. As we move over to GeForceNOW though, it looks like we're playing a very different game. They are still pushing the 2080D PC rigs for GeForceNOW, which means we can up it during the startup to ultra settings, which is what I've done here. And it doesn't seem to be compromising the frames per second, so we get this fantastic razor sharp quality, but this is at the cost of load times and also a higher cost in general, which we'll come on to shortly, but you do have to admire that quality. As we come back side by side then with Stadia, Xcloud and GeForceNOW, we can see motion blur seems to be a bit higher on Stadia and Xbox Cloud Gaming, and we can't seem to turn this off. But we'll focus more on Stadia and Xbox Cloud as these are the more console type versions, whereas GeForceNOW is that graphics for the PC. As we look at the distance here, it's very close between Stadia and Xbox Cloud, but it does look like Xbox Cloud, since the upgrade of the blades, is starting to push on the quality side a lot better, so it's extremely close. Stadia though, I do have to admit, was the smoothest of the streams, very closely followed by Xbox Cloud, with GeForceNOW having the occasional stutter, even though we've got that higher graphic settings. As we come back to Stadia full screen, we can see that quality of the image isn't as high as we would expect across the other two, but it is silky smooth. There was no input latency at all here. Using either the Stadia controller or the Xbox Series X controller, the colours are still looking extremely vibrant, and we do get all of the explosion effects that we would expect, and they are looking extremely vibrant and smooth. No issue dodging attacks and getting out of the way, and still is extremely fun to play. Xbox Cloud Gaming though is definitely the one that surprised me the most out of this test. In previous tests, Xbox Cloud has either looked really bad or been really stuttery. However, this was extremely smooth. This is why I think that this has actually got the full Series X blade treatment, especially on the load times, which we'll come on to towards the end. I was exceptionally surprised. In performance mode though, the quality of the graphics is absolutely fantastic, although we do still see some stream compression occasionally in those heavy scenes. As we come back to GeForceNOW very quickly towards the end, just to show the power of the graphics here, I did have several instances of the stream glitching, both in audio and video, so I think pushing it to the ultra settings does reduce the quality or the reliability a little bit, but for the bump in the graphics it is extremely worth it. Cost wise though, there is quite a big difference between these three. Stadia you can play completely free on the free tier with no session limit and just purchase the game outright, and Marvel's Avengers will set you back between $25 and $40 depending on the version that you go for. On Xbox Cloud Gaming there is no way to buy the game outright, so the only way to play it in the cloud is with the Xbox Ultimate subscription, which is around $15 a month. and about £12 a month UK. GeForceNOW, again, you can play a free tier, however it's limited to 1 hour play sessions, and if you want that extended session you will need to pay for priority membership at £9 a month or $10 a month. So there is a huge price difference there, and if you do want to play on Stadia in 4K you will need the Stadia Pro subscription, which is also £9 a month or $10. So huge difference in price on where you want to play this. Depending on how you want to play it as well, there is also a big difference. If you have a Stadia controller, then playing on Stadia is obviously going to be the easiest. However, if you have a Bluetooth controller, it's mixed reactions whether Xcloud is actually any better for you, as personally even I have severe problems with Bluetooth on Xcloud, hence I use a wired connection on PC. Bluetooth on Stadia and GeForceNOW though is generally not an issue, so it really is up to you where you are able to play, as it does still play fantastically on all three services. So on to some load speed tests. This really surprised me. GeForceNOW is generally the slowest and that hasn't changed. However, Xbox Cloud, for Marvel's Avengers at least, has made ridiculous improvements. As you can see on the load speed from the main start launch, it actually equaled Stadia here at 37 seconds with Avengers at 1.5 minutes, so still very long there. But the load to the multiplayer select was just under 8 seconds for Xbox Cloud Gaming, which is absolutely phenomenal. But Stadia still impressive, came in at under 20 seconds, so it's still extremely fast, but Xbox Cloud really surprised me here. And unsurprisingly, GeForceNOW actually took a really long time, and even at 8 speed, it's going to take a very long time. Over 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to load into the multiplayer select screen there. And then finally, the mission launch screen again was a bit of a surprise. That Xbox Cloud Gaming just about clinched this one, but not really that far ahead of Stadia at all, at 47 seconds versus 50 for Stadia. Once again, GeForceNOW lagging extremely behind here at 1.5 minutes to do the same thing. So if you want the quality, you are going to sacrifice load speed. If you want somewhere in the middle, then Stadia or Xbox Cloud Gaming, depending on where you are and what controller you're using, will definitely be the best way for you to play Marvel's Avengers at 1080p. Let us know in the comments below where you'll be looking to play and whether you'll dive back into Avengers anytime soon. Thanks for watching, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things cloud gaming, and we will see you next time.